We often believe what we hear, especially when it is told calmly and with confidence. But what if the story sounds true, yet is not true at all? Tonight's story will show you how a simple conversation, a quiet room, and one open window can change everything. This is the story of the open window. "My aunt will come downstairs soon, Mr. Nuttall," said the calm 15-year-old girl. "Until then, you will have to talk with me." Frampton Nuttall felt unsure and uncomfortable. He tried to say something polite to the young girl. At the same time, he did not want to say anything wrong about her aunt. In his mind, he was not sure anymore. He wondered if meeting strangers like this could really help his nervous problem. "I know what will happen," his sister said, when he was getting ready to go and stay in the countryside. "You will hide yourself there, you will not talk to anyone, and your nerves will become worse. So, I am giving you letters to people I know there. As far as I remember, some of them are quite nice." Frampton wondered about Mrs. Appleton. She was the woman he had come to visit. He had brought a letter of introduction for her. He wondered if she was one of those nice people his sister had talked about. After a short silence, the girl spoke. "Do you know many people around here?" she asked. "Almost no one," Frampton said. "My sister stayed here before, about 4 years ago. She knew some people here, so she gave me letters to introduce me to them." He said this with clear regret in his voice. "So you don't really know my aunt?" the calm young girl asked again. "I only know her name and address," Frampton said. He wondered if Mrs. Sappleton was married, or if she was not married. Something about the room made him feel that a man lived there. "That major accident happened in his life 3 years ago," the girl said. "That happened after your sister came here." "Her tragedy?" Frampton asked. Somehow, in this quiet countryside place, tragedy did not feel right to him. "You may want to know why we keep that window open," the girl said. It was an October afternoon. She pointed to a large French window that opened onto the lawn. "It is quite warm for this time of year," Frampton said. "But does that window have anything to do with the tragedy?" 3 years ago, on this very day," the girl said, "my aunt's husband and her 2 young brothers went out through that window. They went for shooting, as they often did. They never came back. While crossing the open land, they stepped into a deep, soft bog. That summer had been very wet. Places that were usually safe suddenly gave way. All 3 of them were swallowed by the bog. Their bodies were never found. That was the worst part." At this point, the girl's calm voice changed. It became slow and emotional. "My poor aunt still believes that they will come back one day," the girl continued. "She believes they will return, along with their little brown dog, and walk in through that window just like before. That is why the window stays open every evening until it gets dark." Poor aunt. She often tells me about that day. Her husband went out with a white coat over his arm, and Ronnie, her youngest brother, was singing a silly song just to tease her. "Sometimes, on quiet evenings like this," the girl said softly, "I almost feel scared. It feels like they might walk in through that window again." The girl stopped speaking, with a small shiver. Frampton felt relieved at that moment. Just then, the aunt hurried into the room, apologizing again and again for coming late. "I hope Vera has been entertaining you," she said. "She has been very interesting," Frampton said. "I hope you don't mind the open window," Mrs. Sappleton said cheerfully. "My husband and my brothers will be back soon. They always come in through this window. They went shooting today, so they will probably make the carpets dirty." "Men are always like that, aren't they?" she added with a smile. Mrs. Sappleton kept talking happily. She spoke about the shooting, about how few birds they found, and about hunting ducks in winter. But to Frampton, it all felt terrible. He tried hard to change the topic, to talk about something less disturbing. But he could not succeed. He noticed that Mrs. Sappleton was not fully listening to him. Her eyes kept moving past him, toward the open window and the lawn outside. Frampton felt it was very unlucky that he had come on this day, the same day the tragedy had happened. The doctors told me to take complete rest, Frampton said. They said I should avoid stress, strong emotions, and hard physical activity. Frampton believed that even strangers were interested in hearing details about his illness. But the doctors do not agree when it comes to my diet, he added. Oh, said Mrs. Appleton. She almost yawned as she spoke. Then suddenly she became alert and attentive. But she was not listening to Frampton. Here they are at last, she cried. They came just in time for tea. And look at them, they are covered in mud. Frampton felt a slight shiver. He turned toward the girl, trying to show that he understood her fear. But the girl was staring out of the open window. Her eyes were wide with shock and fear. A sudden cold fear filled Frampton's body. He quickly turned in his seat and looked toward the window too. In the fading light of evening, 3 figures were walking across the lawn. They were moving toward the open window. Each of them carried a gun under one arm. One man had a white coat hanging over his shoulders. A tired brown dog walked closely behind them. They came closer to the house, quietly. Then, from the darkness, a young, rough voice called out, "I said, Bertie, why do you bound?" Frampton grabbed his hat and stick in panic. He rushed out of the room, past the hall door, past the gravel path, and through the front gate. He ran as fast as he could. A cyclist on the road almost crashed into him and had to jump into the hedge to avoid hitting him. "Here we are, my dear," said the man with the white coat as he came in through the window. "We are quite muddy, but most of it is dry." "Who was the person who ran away just now?" "A very strange man," Mrs. Appleton said. "His name was Mr. Nuttall. He talked only about his illnesses. And when you arrived, he ran away suddenly, without saying goodbye or even apologizing. Anyone would think he had seen a ghost." "I think it was the dog," the girl said calmly. "He told me he was very afraid of dogs." She continued, "Once, a long time ago, he was chased by a group of wild dogs. It happened near a cemetery beside a river called the Ganges. He had to hide all night inside a freshly dug grave. The dogs stayed above him, growling and showing their teeth. Anyone would lose their courage after an experience like that." She was very good at creating stories very quickly. Some stories end with fear, some end with truth, and some remind us how easily the mind can be fooled. If this story surprised you, take a moment to think about it. In the next story, love will speak quietly, not through words, but through sacrifice.